Alright, here we're just gonna bet half pot. Maybe extract some value from a hand, like 6s or 7s or something. Probably gonna value bet the river too, because everyone capped their ranges pre-flop. This guy limped in. This guy's small blind. We're not gonna ISO Jack 10 off. Jack 10 off is just too weak. We're just gonna check it and just see what happens here. Here we have a pretty clear value bet. I think he's just gonna have a lot of ace high, a lot of maybe 6s, 7s, 8s, something like that. So we'll bet. Just gonna go. We're gonna size up a little here and make this look like, you know, a nice little cheeky value bet. Okay, he found a raise here. I don't really know exactly what this hand could be, but the price we're getting here, we gotta call 6 to win like 30, so we're just gonna call. Probably we're gonna lose here a lot, but it's okay. Okay, so he had deuce 6 offsuit, so we're gonna put a tag on him. We're gonna put whale. Oh, we're gonna put loose, very loose. Complete. Let me check folding on both these tables. It's a little loose here on table 3, but I'm gonna just try to enter the pot as much as possible this hour, just so I can get in some interesting situations post flop. It's a little loose, but it's it's not really gonna be a big problem. Check back 3-5. Okay, so we flop the nuts here. We're gonna start sizing up here right away. We're just gonna bet 4 right away. Take that down. Okay, here we're gonna ISO this. This is one of our worst hands, and we just don't want to play a pot with it ever. Basically, if he's gonna limp, he's basically saying, he has basically nothing. So we're just gonna ISO this hand and play it accordingly. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. He would never really lead any hand around Jack 6-6. So we're gonna just go 3x. We're gonna go to 7 here, and then maybe barrel on the turn. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these people are really doing some weird shit all the time. This obviously isn't a great play, but I don't really want to play deuce 4 offsuit and pay rake, so I'm just going to try to steal the pot if they're not going to show any aggression. This guy limped a button, so we're gonna ISO him. We're gonna make it 5.5x. Alright, that's nice. We got to steal it. No break. Beautiful.
Wow, buddy, fine.
Up. 10-3 here is pretty bad. We're just gonna throw this hand away. It doesn't really do anything productive. Jack 8 suited. We're gonna fold. No one really has a lot of money here. If these guys had like 200 blinds, I'm definitely gonna just speculate and try to play a pot. But this guy's got 43 blinds. Like I don't really give a shit about playing too many pots against him. I could probably just play because of that, but also it's like not gonna be that profitable if you just start playing every single suit of the hand against guys with no chips. You know, I want them to have more chips, not less chips, right? So. So when I check and they both check, I'm just going to start betting here. I'm going to be able to steal this pot pretty consistently. Probably going to go bet here no matter what the run out is. Just because they both check the flop and they cap their ranges. So like I'm just going to be able to go bet and steal this pot pretty much 100% of the time. Queen 6 is a fold, Ace 8's a fold. Easy call with the 8-4 of hearts here, multi-way pot. Definitely going to be continuing for a small bet. Probably even half pot. I call one here just because I have a backdoor flush draw and a gut shot, and this guy's super deep with me, so I might be able to win a really big pot. This actually probably is like a good hand to just check raise and start really applying a little pressure here. So I'm just gonna make it 8. See how he reacts to this. He's betting so small on this dynamic board. I don't think this really means strength at all. Yeah. Okay. So we got lucky here. We're gonna start polarizing now. So I'm gonna start betting like 150% pot. So that's 36 blinds. This is 24. So we're gonna make a 36, and then we're gonna go for a big overbet on the river too. Okay, that's nice. We picked that up. He somehow just shows a 6, so that's fine. He didn't really, obviously wasn't really repping much. But that bet sizing on the flop, I think I'm just going to abuse people by check raising aggressively and just, winning the pot because they're betting small on a super dynamic board. Like, it's just not going to be. Okay, same thing. We're going to go 5.5x. Oh, I fucked that up, but okay. Probably a little bit bigger here, 5.5 or 6, something like that is probably best. But okay, here facing a squeeze, big squeeze, good sizing, very good sizing. We're just gonna be folding Jack 10 offsuit. This is already like a borderline open anyway. Jack 10. It's probably actually just a fold. This probably is just a little bit too loose, but whatever. Here we're gonna go for a large sizing. We're just gonna bet 8 right away here, and then probably just rip the turn if he calls or does anything. Okay, so he finds a call. Yeah, the ace doesn't really change much. Yeah, SPR, stack to pot ratio is only 1. He has 29. There's only 27 in there. I mean, this is just, I'm piling the money in here. If I lose, I lose. It doesn't make a difference to me. If he had more money, I might play a check here, but just because of his stack, I'm just not going to play a check there ever. Okay, here we're gonna go 4x. This Jack's hand right here, last hand, I think you just have to be raising bigger. These people just call way too often. They limp in, they call too often. You can just almost keep going bigger and bigger until they start folding, which I don't know what that threshold will be, but I'm guessing it's going to be something like 7 or 8 blinds even. So I'm going to start making it 6, and then after that I'm going to make it 7, and then after that I'm going to make it 8. And I'm just going to put a note on this guy. Obviously, he's a fish. He's a passive loose fishy. Like when you play these games, you want to really be pushing those thresholds and experimenting with them. If you bet 4 blinds and a guy calls you every single time, put a note on him. Next time, make it 5 blinds. And if he calls again, call. Make it 6 blinds next time you have a good hand. It doesn't make a difference. They don't adjust. So if you do adjust, you're going to just turn small profits into bigger profits. And don't be afraid to do things that don't seem, normal. Don't be afraid to experiment, and you go outside the box a little bit. In this video, I'm going to definitely be making some, some plays that maybe don't make sense or whatever, but don't worry about that. Like, you got to do it yourself to really know what works in these games. I don't play these games all day, every day, so I don't know exactly what works. It's going to kind of be up to you to figure out the best way to make the most money. So I can give you my insight, but I don't really know, what's best. So. Queen 3 is really close, but since I'm getting 5 to 1, I'm just going to call and play the pot. This guy made a 6 under the gun. That's not a normal raise size. We already know this guy's a fish, but it's fine. And this guy keeps overbetting, so we're going to put a maniac tag on him because he just has overbet 3 times. I've only been watching for 2 minutes, so. Alright, so he limps here. This guy's kind of a lunatic, so I'm gonna ISO him, but I don't think 4s is like the best hand to ISO him with, so I'm just going to limp in. I don't really like limping as much as, ISO raising, but this hand is just going to be perfect to just limp in with, see if I flop a set, and basically never put a chip in the pot otherwise, so. These hands kind of play themselves. You don't really need to make the pot big. It's just kind of irrelevant. Alright, now everyone checked, so I could start betting here. And I think I'll just take a stab since no one's betting. I'm going to bet half pot and then maybe throw a second barrel in here too. 8-9 of hearts is close, but I think this is just a pure flat in these games. I think these people playing a ton of hands in position with deep stacks is just going to be a very good situation for me. I don't think it's going to, it's not going to really affect my bottom line. This is going to be 3.5x here. This guy's 30 blinds. If he had more chips, I'd probably go bigger, like 4, but it's, just because of the stack size, I'm just gonna go 3.5x. This guy's at 4.2, so we have some backdoors, and obviously we have bottom pair, which if we hit an 8, it's gonna be super deceptive. And I think a 9 is gonna be a great card for us too, because we can rep, well, we don't have to rep Queen 10 because we have 2 pair, but. Alright, so this guy bet out again. I don't really see what this hand is, so I'm going to raise him and just see where he's at. He's been doing some really spazzy stuff. This is kind of the reason why we don't want to be playing this hand, because now we can't really continue for this price. It's just he doesn't have enough money for us to kind of speculate, so we just end up losing 4 blinds there. I don't really like that. Alright, so we raised that guy, took that down. We're just kind of running over him because he's playing like a spaz. three of spades is going to be just a fold. It's not going to make any money with the rake, so we're just going to just be done with it, even though it is suited. It's probably one of our worst suited combo, and probably one of the only suited hands that we actually fold here. A lot of these hands we just put right into our raising range and just, you know, try to use aggression against that guy's wide big blind range. Another one of these really bad suited hands in the small blind. You can't really play these hands profitably with the rake. You can't raise them, and you can't limp, obviously. I mean, limping's just the worst. Raising them is also just bad, so we just can't play these hands. We got a big hand here. Let's hope we get some action. This is going to be that spot where I told you we're going to test this threshold of how wide these guys are going to call. So we're going to, usually I'd make this like 5.5x or something, but we're going to go a little bit bigger. We're going to go 7x here and just see if this guy calls. Like almost 200% pot. So yeah, so he found a call. Not shocking, obviously. Now this guy's deep, and this guy has, you know, 56 blinds. So we're gonna just go for, a large bet, and just, you know, we don't really hope, we hope this guy doesn't continue. Obviously, we don't really want him to. We're gonna go for a 1/3 here, because we have, you know, a protection. We need some protection. Now this guy checked. He's gonna have a lot of straight draw and pair type hands. So we're just going to apply max pressure here and see if he makes a call with like a hand like Jack 10 or something. I'm going to just go to pot and then rip the river on a lot of safe cards. I just think they speculate too much on the flop there. They call that big bet they call on the flop with just a lot of stuff. They call once and then just fold. Obviously we had a big hand there, but you'll find that that spot is going to be very easy to just kind of apply pressure and win a lot of money in those hands, even if you just have like something like a flush draw or something. Don't be afraid to throw that second barrel in there if you have equity. If you don't have equity, you know, just be giving up a lot. We picked up a straight draw here, and yeah, they both checked the flop. So same thing. I'm just going to start betting half pot here and see if I can steal the pot. Probably follow through on the river. This is actually a really good card for me. Pretty easy value bet. He never has Jack X here. He might have 8-9, but that's just like, you can't have, you know, worry about monsters under the bed. You have to just play your hand accordingly. We're gonna bet half pot again here and just see if we get called by a 7x type hand, which I think he's gonna have a lot. Or he's just gonna have ace 5 and just fold anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But this is a really easy value bet on the river, just because we're targeting his 7x. That's like the hand he's just going to have all the time. He didn't bet the flop, which means he definitely doesn't have Jack X, you know, pretty easy to read, right? Okay, we're gonna ISO here, 4.5x on position, just applying pressure to this guy limping in every hand here. Okay, so we get called in the small blind and we get called in the limp. I don't really love this combo, but since it's a 2 Broadway board, I think that we get to start betting here for a half pot. Just because we're gonna have all the strong hands, and neither one of these guys is gonna really have any of the strong hands, so. Okay, so same thing as before. I think I just get to apply a lot of pressure to his range here. I think we just bet 21, and maybe we follow through on the river. Yeah, so he just calls one again and just folds, and I should change this tag. This guy's really just passive and bad and calls too much. I had a bad tag on him. I had an aggressive tag, 'cause I don't even remember why, but he did something crazy, so. But we're going to change that to a yellow tag because his tendencies are really getting more passive. He's limping into every single hand now, and he's just kind of checking and calling and checking and folding and just not really doing anything, you know, too frightening, obviously. Alright, I'm gonna trash can these two fucking shit bombs.
Kaido! Shh! Kaido! Shh! Shh! Kaido! Shush! Hey! Shush!
Just brutal, Kaido. You're so loud. Yeah, so sorry about that, buddy. Alright, Kaigo's obviously going ape shit. We're gonna call here with the King Jack. This is just a clear fold, they say. Shut down here with the Jack 9. For this small sizing, we get to just call pure here with these two overcards. I don't think there's I don't have a spade, but with a spade, it's like definitely a continue. But with this hand, it's just fine to just call one. Here, I think we get to continue betting. This guy's basically showed no strength the entire time, and this guy's a total fish. So for this sizing, I think we will just make the fold. I don't think we can really continue here. We don't have a flush draw. I mean, we have a gut shot, but it's just not going to really perform well, so we'll just throw it away. All right. This guy bet 2.5 big blinds into a pot of 22.5, so. Okay, so this guy has. Okay, we're going to make a huge raise here and just put these guys to the test. I don't think either one of them has anything. Like, I don't think they have a hand that they can even continue. Like, I don't know why we would ever bet 2.5 big blinds on the river. Nice hand. Okay. Yeah, I was obviously bluffing here, but now it's just a situation where we can't be beating anything, so we're just going to fold. Okay, that was a little overzealous. I just was really feigning weakness here. He had a 6-high flush, which, you know, it is what it is. But since I check raised the river, he probably should never re-raise with a 6-high flush. It's just way too light. But this just kind of brings me back to the point where if you just play tighter than them, like, you'll just obliterate them in the long run. Like, if I just always show up with a better hand than a 6-high flush in that spot, I'll just print money, right? Like, you don't need to be creative in these lines because they aren't going to be creative. So Like, they just show up with 6 high flushes, and you just, you know, it is what it is. Table 1 here on this monotone board, we're going to use really small bet sizes just because a lot of our hands don't really want to pile money into the pot. Only our super, super strong hands do, and we definitely want to just get a lot of his, like, you know, king jack offsuit with no spade, or, you know, queen 9 offsuit or something like that. Those types of hands out. We're just going to try to target those really weak hands, and then we're just going to, you know, play the hand accordingly. Okay, now when he doesn't check raise the flop, he's basically saying I don't have a flush. So what we're gonna do on this board is we are going to overbet. We're gonna actually go 13.5 here and just really apply some pressure to all of his bad spade combos. And what the fuck, man? These guys are finding a lot of weird aggression here. Alright, we fold. We have a 7 high flush draw. We don't really have anything, so we got a call with our hand in the cookie jar there. And he showed a flush, I guess? No, he tried to show a flush. Okay, I'm gonna have to lock it down a little bit. I think I'm playing a little bit too wild here in these games. I don't think these aggressive lines are going to do anything against this player pool. I think these people are just way too loose, and like look at this, under the gun raise, I 3-bet. This guy's just open rips it. Like, it's just, you don't have to 3-bet or do anything creative. They just want to play every single hand, and you know, that's just the way the game's going to go. So Kyle's going to lock it down and then try to win some money. Okay, we're going to get it in here for 36 blinds with an overpair, pretty standard. He has 6-8 offsuit, we're going to run it once. Here I think we have a pretty clear 3-bet, so we're just going to 3-bet this. Okay, so we stacked that guy, that was nice. He's definitely the big fish at the table, so. This is a clear 3-bet, so we're going to go a little bigger. No, we're going to just go like this. We're going to go to 11. Here we get to bet really small. Like, if we want, we can bet like 5.5. So just really target like his queen highs and jack highs. And if he, you know, decides to start putting money in the pot, that's fine too. Yeah, so he's going to be check raising here with some hands that are, you know, obviously he's going to be check raising here with like some club hands that we have just absolutely murdered. But he's also just going to be check raising here like all of his king X. So we're going to just pile. We're just going to call. I'm not going to fold the turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I want to leave all his bluffs in there. Yeah, okay. We get the call here. The pot's just, yeah, this is beautiful. So he has 10 high. He's basically drawing dead. Not dead, but he has 14%. Yeah, so that worked out perfect. Just a clean hand, you know, cut off button, nice hand to 3-bet, flop the club draw. Basically just getting the right price. You can't really fold a hand, it's too strong. Okay, now he's just 6xing it, so we're just gonna put a tag on this guy that he's like a big fish. What do I have here? This is my tag for like a really big fish, like a whale. Like, we call it a whale in poker. Like, just a really bad player who's just giving it away. Just because he's aggressive, I put whale on him. I probably should put like this maniac. Actually, I'm gonna put this tag on him. It's like a maniac tag. It's probably more suited to this guy because he's obviously not afraid to get a lot of money in the pot with like 10-8 of clubs and shit like that. He's here to play cards, you know. He's evading capture. Gonna go for a 4-bet here with the jacks. Probably gonna fold to further action just because these ranges are super tight. Like he's just gonna have aces, kings, queens, and ace king if he jams it in here in my eyes. So I think with those ranges, I think it's just a very easy fold pre-flop if he does 5-bet me all in. On this board, we're gonna bet. We're going to bet 1/4, just really small. We want to keep his range wide. We want to be able to bet small with a lot of our hands. And obviously we have a monster hand, but we want to be able to bet really small with our hands like kings and queens and tens and maybe, some of our bluffs like king, queen suited just to try to, operate and take the pot down. Here we just check call the flop. This could be a check raise on the flop, but I don't think it's really necessary to start check raising this exact combo. 5-6 off is probably a fold, but against this guy, I'm just going to be in there because I don't want to miss an opportunity to stack this guy. He's just really, really bad. And against the overbet, I think we just call. But I think it's actually a good spot. If someone at this limit is playing an overbet, they just have value so often that I don't really, I'm just going to exploitatively fold here. I would normally not fold this hand, but at this limit, I think you can just make a fold in the spot. Just, you don't have to play in a way that makes sense. If they are repping a monster hand, you can just say, okay, fold, and move on to the next hand. You can see I'm winning 60, 70 blinds on these tables. I haven't done anything, you know what I'm saying? So, deuce 3 off is probably really close, but same thing. I'm getting 7 of 1, and the hand sucks obviously, but for 50 cents or whatever it is, not even 50 cents. Same thing with 4-8 off. These hands don't really play that well, but for a limped pot, it's just okay to play them, Alright, so this guy, wow, okay. I'm definitely going to put a tag on. Actually, let's see what they have first, but this guy's a psychopath. I mean, totally psychopath. This guy just snapped it in so fast, so he's definitely not folding anything, so we'll just put a call tag on him. He's a calling station. I mean, he didn't even think about folding 8s, which obviously I wouldn't either, but... I mean, king deuce offsuit is just totally insane. I mean, what are these people doing? You see how much money there is to be one of these games if you just can kind of wait around. I mean, they're just not willing. They're not willing to fold. So I'm going to keep pushing that threshold. This guy just keeps limping. I'm going to keep raising my best hands, but I'm going to keep going bigger and bigger until this guy's either broke, until I have all his money, or until he folds. And then I'll know what the threshold is, because he's obviously not willing to fold for whatever I make it, basically. Like, I'll just keep looking at this, and like, he limped in, and I just made it 5.5x, which isn't like a standard thing, but he calls every time. So, like I said, find spots to just really abuse the worst players. Like, this guy, you want to play every pot against this guy if you can, and just abuse him. This is where a lot of your win rate is going to come from, the worst players. You're not going to win all the money from this guy who just folds every fucking hand. You're going to win all the money from this guy. So, I'm just sizing down here a little because I have a speculative hand. I'm going to open this hand 100% of the time. It's just I'm going to keep the pot small until I want to make the pot big. With my best hands, I'm going to size up, and with the worst hands, I'm just going to size down a little bit. Now here we got just, everyone has $1 zillion, and this is like a very a very good hand to flop something with here, so we'll just take that. King 6 off here is definitely a fold, even against this really terrible player. It just doesn't play well. Now against this guy, we're going to do the same thing. 5.5x ISO. See, we're getting 10 to 1 here. There's not really any way you can fold any hand. This is just insanity. He limped in and then just ripped 100. Okay, that's something, but okay. We can fold King 10 of hearts here, no big deal. Now this guy check raised. Now the price, we're still getting a good price, but I just don't want to peel bottom pair here, because if I'm up against like kings or jacks here, I just get absolutely trashed when I hit an 8, and I don't want to be in that situation, so I'll just release it. Yeah, so we hit the magic 8 here, but I like my decision on the flop. I don't want to be in a pot where if I hit my best possible card, I can still lose the biggest pot ever, right? Like, you don't want to be in that situation. This is a perfect squeeze here, so we're going to go 5.5x. It's about 14, so squeeze the King 9 of clubs. It's a good squeeze because we just get a lot of hands to fold that are dominating us. We get King 10 offsuit to fold. We get, maybe the hand like Ace 9 suited even might fold. Now this last hand, I had the 10-8. Twisted Sister had queens, and this guy had Jack X Guinness. So he check raised the pot with just a jack. So we're going to put a note on him too. This guy's actually a maniac too. Just because that's just not a standard thing to do. Showing that aggression in that spot with that type of hand, you can just put a maniac tag on him. Like, he's definitely playing way too aggressive. On these low boards, we should be checking a lot of our hand range. This is a good hand to just check. We have a backdoor flush draw, 2 overcards. We're probably going to check call 1. He's going to find a lot of barrels here with just goofy shit. Yeah, this is an amazing card for us, so we're going to start betting here. I'm just going to start betting small. We don't need to bet big to isolate, to target some of his worst hands. Okay, yeah, now I just think his range is just a lot of ace-x, like... Okay, he called the turn, and he can't beat jack high, which means he obviously has some sort of straight draw, I guess. That was nice. I'm going to also put a tag on him, because he's passive. He didn't find a bluff on the river. He didn't have jack high beat, and he didn't bluff the river, which means if he doesn't find that bluff, he's not going to find any bluffs, really, right? We're going to be playing a pot with Go 724 here. Getting it in and gambling for 26 blinds. He has the 10-6 offsuit. We're not running it more than once. What in God's name are these people actually doing in poker? I don't understand. They must be rich. We beat him. He made a straight, but we actually made a higher straight, so that's nice. We're going to be going 5.5x here as an ISO play. 2 limpers. I'm going to note this guy too. He's limping in. All these guys just keep limping in. You just have to put a note on every one of them. I'm going to do this for the video for you, but you should be doing it just because you're going to be playing against these guys over and over. I'm not going to be playing against them over and over, but I mean, just the fact that they limp in so often is a big telltale sign of just their general aggression levels. Like, if they're limping in constantly, they're not going to be aggressive at any point in time in any hand. Like, you can see that that's just the way they play. They just play extremely passively, and they play a lot of hands. And that's fine. And we'll just, we'll continue doing what we do. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I tried to bluff a few hands, and that didn't work. So calm the fuck down, Kyle. Here we're just giving up. We have no spade, we have no hands, so we just check back in a multi-way pot, just give up. There's no reason to constantly be betting and betting and raising with nothing. If you have a hand, you're gonna make a lot of money. If you don't, you're not. Just check, fold, no big deal. Okay, jack 3 of clubs is way too loose, so I'm gonna fold that. Yeah, this is one of those suited hands I'm talking about. The big blind is perfect to just call. Hey, baby. Baby, I gotta call you back though. I'm making a video for Mike, and I'm like in the middle of recording it. Can I just see you when you get home? Hello. Sorry, I was doing something. I definitely would have c-bet this hand, but it's fine. I'm gonna call with the king 6. This is, I mean, I don't have anything. I would have c-bet small here and just tried to grab the pot, but I don't have any equity. I'm just gonna give this one up. It's no big deal. This is actually a really bad card. Jack 10, Jack 9, 10, 9, all types of goofy stuff got there. Just try to take this to showdown. No reason to bet. I can't really get called by anything worse, so it's just... Gonna note this guy up too. I mean, he's making it 7.5x. That's insane. Small c-bet, nice and easy. Nothing really too creative. You can just super dry board. You get to bet small here and just steal the pot so often. This is probably close. I mean, I'm gonna play this hand. I don't really think it's like some kind of party, but suited up, pretty high suit is fine.